Valcha, I am Underbutler, and today I will be talking about keeping to a style whilst showing how I ended up doing the Czrni Molotov dog concept, just as with this drawing, which I'm actually really happy with. This is the second drawing in what is kind of a bumbly character style, and I think it's a lot cleaner and a lot crisper than the sheep I did, and definitely gives me more confidence in making a few more characters in this sort of style going forward, possibly doing them in more posed or dynamic styles, giving them a bit more life to them. Though this is quite definitely a version of the character with a little more finesse in the execution. Much of what I learned doing the previous ill-fated drawing was used to great effect on this design. I also chose to be a lot more confident in how I dealt with the layers, and then produce masses upon masses of them for every little detail I did. This does have some disadvantages in some instances, but for such a stylized take on a character, it works quite well and allowed me to get quite a polished drawing done in a very short amount of time. One thing I should have considered doing, but didn't, was making the outlines of the character slightly off black, to give them a little bit of colour and to give them that tint, to give them a slightly softer edge whilst keeping the outlines strong and distinct. That is probably a small change I will handle on any new pieces I do. You will notice though, I spend a fair bit of time trying to get a good angle on the dog's paws and a few other details, as I wanted to reduce them an awful lot more, but not reduced it down to just being a hoof. A lot of my good references for simplifying animals is actually from the world of plushie and wooden toys, as the designers need to simplify these creatures into shapes that are recognisable, but not overly complex so as to be easily manufacturable. With the Bumble Sheep, I was mostly inspired by a variety of very round, cartoony sheep, such as Wooloos from the newer Pokemons. This kind of set the type of shape of the animals I wanted to do, mixed with my desire to make something a bit different from my usual stuff, and I have extremely exaggerated eyes and exaggerated features. The one thing I might need to try doing more of is drawing various types of heads at an awful lot more angles, as I really struggled to get a good looking head in previous attempts, particularly face on. The more I'm doing this, the more I am discovering I'm very limited in terms of not bending poses and angles from references that much, and that has constrained how much imagination I can inject into these scenarios and into these characters, as I don't have enough experience of doing many dynamic poses or interesting angles. I was originally wanting to have the dog bouncing around a bit up in the air, but I ended up going for this much more static pose. More interesting poses is definitely something I should be attacking soon and more often, as I'm trying to challenge myself more with the types of art that I have shied away from for many years. I think I also need to dedicate much more time to making characters in situ in terms of design, or straight up just landscape, cityscape or other environment art, as I've not done much of that for a long time, and so I can be more confident in creating pieces that have that more full finish with the full details of character and background rather than straight concept art or abstract. The next video will include a triple flower design I was asked to do that I did in between the two Czrni drawings, and was a process based around a request and adjusting to feedback and continuously adapting to what client in quotation marks wanted, but also helped me get a lot more confident with some of the brush tools I used to effect in this piece that I'd started using within the original Czrni drawing. So stay tuned for that one. Thank you very much for your time and listening to this ramble. Marcin Lev and Drasta.